Welcome back, guys, to an episode of the Memory Box. I hope you've been enjoying the video so far. Luckily, today we're joined by Liam Giles, who is currently Croydon FC manager and a good friend of the company. You want to say hello, Liam?
How you doing, guys? How are you? Right? You okay?
Good, thanks. And obviously, Tom, you can see Tom top left. He's with us again today, just to sort of be nosy and jump in the conversation. Probably not going to bring anything.
Got nothing else to do. I've got nothing else to do.
Afternoon, boss.
Liam's had a long career in semi-professional football, so he should have some good memories. I know he is a Millwall fan, so we don't know what's, even with me being a Millwall fan, I don't know what the games are going to be like, but we'll see where it goes. Liam, just to kick us off with, I've just been asking people really what their general first memory of football generally, like with you being a kid, like as far as you can really remember back.
For me, Ryan, the furthest memory I can go back on is that I used to go and watch my dad play pretty much every week on a Saturday. And they had this one particular time, they had a Surrey Cup final. I don't think I watched any of the game. I was playing football with all the other kids there, literally rolling around in puddles. And in the end, I ended up having to wear like one of the spare shirts because of my clothes were just wrecked. And, you know, being in the changing rooms with, you know, like the team and stuff like that, that was probably as far back as I can go. On a personal side, soccer school on a Saturday at the age of 5, going every morning, and you know every Saturday morning, kicking the ball about and just having fun. I love football from as far as I can remember, mate. So yeah.
Well, so that's from 5 to what, 45 now? 35. What are we?
Mate, that's why I got the hat on. That's why I got the hat on.
No, yeah. Obviously, even when I was younger, even when I went to watch a game, maybe even if it was of like Tom's games or whatever, I never really, when I was really young, really took notice of the game. I would rather be on the touchline, like you said, just messing about, really.
Just on that, like Liam, that's how we first obviously met, when we used to go down and watch. Obviously, my dad and your dad were heavily involved with Croydon FC many years ago, and that's how I remember we first met. You were playing for Croydon at the time, and obviously me and my brother would just be at the club after we've obviously played our games, and then we'd come to the club with my dad, and then you'll be there, and you'll either be playing, and we'll just sit and watch you guys play, and then just watch the first team or whatever games, and then we'll just, to be honest, like you said, Ryan, the amount of games that I went to when I was younger, and I just end up having a ball with me anyway and just joining on the side of the pitch, just playing with whoever's there. So
they were great. They were great times, Tom. I remember them well.
Great days, great times.
It was really enjoyable.
So really,
That's how obviously the amount of friends you make in football is just by, especially when you were younger, just literally having a ball or not having a ball and seeing someone else with a ball and wanting to go and join in and have a kick around for whether it's 10 minutes or whether it's a few hours. You know what I mean? So
yeah, no, definitely.
Yeah, so Tom just mentioned, obviously, when you were younger, you were at Croydon, so it's pretty much like a full cycle for you now, hasn't it been? So you've gone from playing for them to now being first team manager.
Yeah, of course, mate. If I'm being totally honest, if it was another club, I wouldn't have gone into management so soon in terms of senior football. Apologies for the background noise. I can't get away from the baby during this lockdown, unfortunately. Sorry about that. But yeah, no, so the club means a lot to me. From the age of 5 up till 14, little spell away, and then back playing in the under-18s when I remember playing alongside Tommy when he was released from Millwall. He played a couple of games, I think, before he went on to Sutton, if I'm right there, Tom.
That's it.
You know, that's a long time to go away. You know, I never actually played for Croydon as a senior player. I did sign 1 year, but coming back to the club where I spent the majority of my childhood, mate, for me is something special. You know, it's more than just football and football management. Like it's got a place in my heart and in my childhood. So main reason why I was so keen on taking a job when, you know, I could still kick a few people now, you know, I can still get about, so I could still be playing. But
so just on that, Lee, just obviously the transition from playing to coaching is something that, obviously, as you know, I'm still playing at the moment, and it's something that I'm looking at in the near future. You know, I'm obviously passionate I am about coaching and working with youngsters, obviously from the age of 6 all the way up to 18, 19 or whatever it might be. And obviously you worked with us for a little bit with our under 18s at Holmesdale. So yeah, the transition between obviously playing to coaching, and then obviously just to let the viewers know a little bit about obviously your background in coaching and stuff like that.
Yeah, so first of all, you know, as you're well aware, Tom, we got together, maybe 6-7 years ago now, down at Bromley. Me, yourself, and obviously Pete, and took a side that was in a real low division, and obviously improved them and got a respectable league finish that year. And we obviously worked together there. From that, I continued with that. Obviously, you and Pete went and done the age group below. And obviously, when it come to my time finishing with my age group, obviously I came and joined yourselves at Holmesdale, which I thoroughly enjoyed working with 18s. You know, not just saying it because you're on the line, mate, but you know, I think what you do and the way you get them kids playing is brilliant. You know, and obviously it's something that
mate. I appreciate that.
Yeah, no, mate, it is what it is. Anyone that sees a K&R side taught by yourselves, right, etc. You know, the philosophy is the same: get the ball down and play. You know, and that's what we all would aspire to do. So, yeah, no, some good times at Holmesdale. You know, obviously I had to cut it short due to obviously getting the Croydon job, and you know, with life, with my business, family, I couldn't commit to also obviously, you know, Croydon being, you know, the club that it was, I couldn't turn that down. And yeah, mate, obviously I loved working with the youngsters, you know, and you get a lot back from them because, you know, they listen, and, you know, when you step into senior football, management wise, you know, as us Thomas players, we all know best, don't we? So it's always a more challenging role, I believe, when it comes into senior football, because you've got the egos of the senior players that, well, I've been here, I've been there, you know, I know best, which is something that, you know, we deal with obviously quite often. That's I think that's the massive difference in the transition. I enjoy it just as much. But like I say, mate, you know, it's been a great journey, and like I say, without doing what we did together with the juniors and stuff, you know, I learned an awful lot with coaching, obviously working alongside yourselves and playing in the non-league game for so long, you know. So no, it's something that I'm really passionate about, mate.
Yeah, no, I think you hit the nail on the head, and I think as a coach, this is sort of my process in my head, is obviously working with those youngsters, and then obviously working with the under-18s at Holmesdale, but also working with the under-18s, 19s and 23s at Sutton United, what I'm doing now. And then obviously the next step would be into first team management, which obviously I still want to play for a couple more years, but just gaining that experience all the time. And I think you touched on there, you've gained that experience working with the youngsters, and then you went to the 18s, and then obviously you got offered the first team manager's job, and it was too good to turn down. And listen, I think this year you're just outside the playoffs, obviously, hoping to get into the playoffs by the end of the season. Obviously, with the pandemic, the league's been cut short, but I know last year you kept the team up when you took over, so you're obviously doing a good job, mate, so well done to you. But no, spot on, mate. Great feedback, and yeah, brilliant.
Yeah, no, it's good. Just to move on to the next thing we've got down here is, obviously Tom's done this himself. We're asking the people that come on to pick a player that had had a big influence on your career, maybe as a player or even now as a manager? Just one player that really influenced you, maybe when you were a little bit younger.
Liam, I know I'm younger than you, but you can't say me, all right?
We've already had the Croydon playing next to you at Croydon statement, Tom. Can't have any. Don't big him up anymore. I've had enough of his head's growing by the minute.
To be fair, right, mate, he's got
No,
me on
don't
the
say it.
payroll for this.
Oh, I thought you were about to play him a compliment. Then I was about to be like, no, don't do it. Don't do it.
So going on that, I'm going to go with the first player that I was besotted by, that I thought was the best thing ever, rather than as I grew up and understood the game a lot more. And obviously there could be different answers there, but the first person as a kid that for me was my idol was Paul Gascoigne. Mate, like Euro 96, I remember it like it was yesterday.
You are showing your age with that one. That was
Mate,
before I was even born. I wasn't even born in 96.
Mate, Euro 96, I remember my dad was, I can say it now, but he was getting me out of school so I can go and watch the games if they were during the day and stuff. We actually, back in the day when, the kids used to go down the pub a lot with their dads and watch football, I remember watching it in the Pleasant Pheasant pub in South Norwood, right by Croydon Arena. And I remember when Gaza lifted the ball over and the celebration, all the stick he was getting because he was out on the lash and all the rest of it, it just, mate, I loved him. I even had Gaza shaved in the back of my head. Yeah. That's the one. That was the one, mate. The dentist chair, I think.
Yeah, the dentist chair it's called, yeah.
Yeah, so Gaza for me,
Gaza,
at early age was, he was something else.
That's surprising. That's surprising, Liam. Just obviously, I know you as a player, and obviously, hopefully, a lot of people. No. Like, obviously, Gazza's was a top player, but obviously, you said it before you even said Gascoigne's name, that like now it might be someone different. So obviously, knowing how you play, and I know that you wouldn't mind me saying that you're a very sort of old school player in terms of roll your sleeves up, dig in. If there's a tackle to be made, you're definitely going to make it. Hard work, grit between you. Do you know what I mean? As well as obviously ability and stuff like that. But so, is there anyone else that obviously, as you went through playing, you sort of watched a little bit more and thought, yeah, I'm more like that, or that player I like for this reason?
Mm-hmm. I think, like, you hit the nail on the head there, Tom. I was never blessed with the most technical ability, but I made up for that with, my heart and desire, and like hitting a tackle for me. A big tackle was like scoring a goal. In my career, obviously, I picked up my disciplinary order when I started to learn to time my challenges a lot more. But I would probably go with a Roy Keane type player.
Yeah, definitely.
That's, for me, that's what I would say. I'd look at him and, you might laugh here, mate, but even players like, your Paul Inces and people like Robbie Savage, for example, people laugh, but he was effective. He was a horrible bit of work.
And I bet a lot of his teammates would want him in the team week in, week out, especially as a centre midfielder. Obviously being a centre midfielder yourself, there's players that, especially when you play in centre midfield with someone, you want someone to be able to do something that you can't, so you can bounce off each other. And if you got someone that can do the legwork, or like you said, you're the one that might go and sort of run for a brick wall for his teammate, and then there's someone else who has got that a little bit, maybe without sounding horrible, a bit more technical ability to pick them passes, and that's a combination that's going to work. Do you know what I mean? So,
100%, mate. I'm a great believer, Tom, that people complement each other. So
100%.
For example, are you going to want 11 dogs that are going to run around kicking people and winning tackles and covering ground? Of course, you love people that are going to give you that energy and that work rate, but you're going to need that little bit of spark, that ability, someone to pick a hole, and find passes and, score goals. I was never a goal scorer. Probably scored in my senior career maybe 2 goals outside the box in, I don't know what, maybe 400 games, 500 games, however many I played. So, that wasn't me. So obviously, like you say, you have to have players, different types of players to complement each other, which obviously ultimately makes a good team.
And I think that's one of the things that we try and teach our youngsters, in terms of, it's not a negative to know what you can't do. Work on what you can't do, but try and perfect what you can do, because everyone is good at something different. Like I touched on in my video clip with Ryan the other day, that like I'm not the best dribbler, so I'll give it to someone who can dribble. If there's a pass to be made, then there's something different, and I would go and try and execute that pass. But in terms of if I'm one-on-one, I would try and give it a go. But if it's easier for me to give the ball to someone who I know will definitely take on their player, then that's part of knowing yourself, what you can and can't do, and also being a team player and sort of knowing the game and understanding the game.
Do you mean someone who's got a bit of pace, Tom?
Yeah, mate.
He runs like he's got a bloody.
You know what?
Truck
Long
on his back.
distance, I can run, but there's no change of pace whatsoever.
Or change of direction. Yeah, no, so far it's been spot on. I agree with obviously everything that you both are saying. Obviously I knew a Millwall player definitely wasn't coming up there, because the standards are shocking. Just moving on then, it's more now about games, maybe 2 or 3 of your most memorable games, either as a fan or obviously Tom and a few others, since Tom's done his, have mentioned games they've been involved in themselves. So it's really up to you, but just memorable games that stood out for yourself.
So I've already touched on one of them, being the England-Scotland game in Euro 96. So I won't go back into that one, but that is definitely one that sticks in my mind. Another one for me would be the Champions League final, Man United, Bayern Munich.
I mentioned that. I said that as well.
He's watched the video, Tom. He's watched the video.
Mate, you know what? I'm not going to lie. I did watch the start of it, but I didn't get that far. So, no, but that game for me was epic. With minutes left on the clock, that takes some spirit. That's unbelievable. That won't never happen again like that. Not to the way that whole thing planned out. They didn't have Roy Keane.
Scholes was missing
right?
as well.
They didn't have Scholes.
Yeah, I think he was missing.
Scholes,
suspended.
And again, going back. Sorry, I know I'm going back a bit here, but going back to what I said about Roy Keane, it typifies the type of player he was. That he knew he was suspended for the final during the semi-final, and he still was an absolute monster that game, to a point where I think Ferguson even said in his book, Roy Keane that day was, unbelievable. Which Roy Keane, I think, returned and said, "What do you expect? I'm a footballer, that's my job." But, that's Roy Keane for you. But yeah, so that game there for me was crazy. I remember again watching it in Croydon Town Centre. I should have probably been at home. I had school in the morning, but I went out with my stepdad and watched it, and it was unbelievable. For me as a player, I'd probably go with. I played for Wallingham for a few seasons. This actual season, Tommy will probably remember, I dislocated my ankle pre-season quite badly. Was rushed to hospital, into resus, popped my ankle back into place. I was actually out for 6 months. Now, that end of that year, we won the Combined Counties Cup down at Windsor, and our skipper was suspended that day. So I led the team out, and me and him at the end both lifted the trophy, which for me was such a big thing in my career, because when I broke my ankle, being self-employed as well at the time, I was deciding whether I should quit and give up, and it was a long road, it was quite depressing. I was indoors, couldn't get about, was laid up for a little while. So that year, that was special to me. I had my family there. That for me, footballing wise, that's probably one of my best moments.
Yeah, no.
Again,
go on.
again, though, for our youngsters listening, that just shows that obviously that's a knockback. Do you know what I mean? Everyone has knockbacks in their career, and obviously I've done my meniscus. I was out missed the whole season, and again, I know what you're talking about. It's hard when you're by yourself, you're doing your rehab, and there's a certain time during that rehab where you can't see the light at the end of the tunnel. But yeah, like you said, mate, you push through it. Should endeavour to get through it. Do you know what I mean? And you wanted to get back on the pitch, and you were rewarded. So fair play to you, mate. And that just shows to our youngsters watching again, just don't give up. Do you know what I mean? If you take a knockback, like we touched on in my video, that football's a matter of opinions. Do you know what I mean? Your knockback was through injury. I've had knockbacks, injury, and opinions before, and even you as first team manager, someone who comes on trial for you, Liam, they might not suit the way you want or want to play, or they might not fit in that team right away. But again, it's your opinion. They could go into somewhere else and someone really like it. So,
1,000,000%, Tom. And I think, like you say, when you touch on that, you know, we've worked with players. I'm not going to mention no names, but players that have got real ability. You know, and one message I'd always say to younger players more so is that if you get a knockback, don't take it as that's it, I'm not good enough, or whatnot. You know, you need to go, well, look, they didn't like me for whatever reason, or I didn't suit them. I'm going to work even harder, and I'm going to come back and show them why they should have had me, why they should have signed me.
100%.
You know, many players we can say growing up, you know, that were 10 times better than myself, but never ever went on to play senior football because they gave up, because they got released from pro clubs or you know, wherever, and they were like, that's it done, you know. So yeah, players need to just believe, and you know, it's never over. You just got to keep working hard and believing in the end goal, really.
Yeah, no, everything you're saying spot on. And even in these questions, as we've gone through it always seems, and a lot of the videos we've done so far, it always comes back to what we've been speaking with people about, is attitude and attitude and application of it. Because so much of football today now is just based on, or focused heavily on, like your technical, obviously, your ability, which obviously takes you a certain way, but at the same point is the attitude and your willingness to like overcome the obstacles, as we just mentioned, is definitely just as important as your ability. Because
1,000,000% right.
Yeah,
I actually think that, you know, attitude is one of the main things that you need, especially as a young player. You know, if you're not gonna apply yourself and put the extra work in and listen to your coaches, and if something does go wrong, you know, come back stronger and work on it, you know, you've not really got no chance. But, you know, players that, you know, have stuck with it, like look at Tommy, he's a prime example. You know, he got obviously left Millwall at 16, when played at like a few places, went to Sutton United, played in the youth team, you know, ended up, he's played at a high level of non-league, you know. I'm sure he's, you know, earned fairly well as well out of that, and he's had some great memories, you know, FA Cup round 2 appearance and whatever else, you know. So it's all about attitude. Tommy's attitude's always been spot on, you know. But there's other players, you know, we can all talk about that have given up and just thought, can't be asked, you know, I've been let down. So attitude for me is what, as technical ability, etc., as their attitude, I think is right up there with it.
Yeah, there's a great saying, and everyone's heard this before. Like, you hear it from the professionals, that ability can only take you so much, so high, and the attitude and application, like you spoke about, that's what gets the top players to the top, if you like. Do you know what I mean? It's those long days, and even for our youngsters, I keep saying about, obviously referring to our youngsters, because I want them to be watching this, and obviously for these messages to really sink into them, that they're going to have to make sacrifices if they want to get there. It's not just going to be given to them. And that's the biggest thing that Sid's working at Sutton United with the 18s and 19-year-old boys. And some of them just come along and they think that they're going to get handed a chance in the first team. They don't understand. And that's the difference, I feel, from when I was a youngster to now, that these days, these 15, 16, 17-year-olds, 18-year-olds come along and just think they're going to get given the opportunity without putting any real hard graft in.
Yeah,
And
I agree.
said attitude, application, and as well as character. That's all part of your character. Do you know what I mean? I want someone like Liam as first team manager. I'm sure you would agree that you want people to come in on trial and not just be noticed for trying to take on however many players, but straight away try and get involved in the team spirit and be there earlier and do the extras. People will say that's busy, but I say that it just shows hunger and desire to get what they want.
For me, Tom, the people that will say it's busy are the people that are worried and probably a little jealous, you know, because it's all what, you know, everyone's goals is the same, right? You want to play as high as possible, you know, playing the biggest matches possible, because you know what, it's lazy. You know, if someone else is putting the hard work in, why can't you? You know, I've been saying it to my squad at the moment. You know, that obviously we don't know what's going on. We don't know when we're going to return. Our season's been ended, you know, suddenly. But put a little bit in, you know. So what I've done is I've took it upon myself, you know, to use this time to get myself fit, you know. So by going out running and, you know, I've been putting it into our WhatsApp group chat with the boys saying, look, if I can do it, you have no excuse. You know, keep yourself busy. Like, busy is a good thing, you know.
Yeah.
So, like you say there, Tom, you're 100% right.
It's definitely, and that's what I've more now when I'm older. And I wish I would have. It's obviously easy to say now, but I wish I would have known what I know now when I was younger, because obviously I didn't get to the heights that I wanted to. Obviously, I set out to be a professional footballer. It didn't work out, but like you touched on, Liam, I've had great memories and great times in football. I met some great people, and very proud. I said it in my video clip. I'm very proud of what I've achieved and still want to achieve more. That's why I'm still playing. So I think it's in terms of the mindset, like you said about you going out. You're not playing anymore, but you're still trying to set an example for the players that you are managing. And see me, Ryan, still playing. We're going out to do our runs, and that's the biggest thing. It's a mindset, and some people have got that mindset, and some people haven't.
Yeah.
Some people go that extra mile, and some people don't. And then that's why some people achieve. Don't get me wrong, some people are unlucky along the way, but there's not many of them that are unlucky, I believe, anyway.
Yeah, no, I agree, mate.
Yeah, no, spot on. But I'm just weary of time because I did just get a message that the meeting will end in 8 minutes. I've got a clock now on the
No
timer.
worries.
Just one last question before you go, Liam, is the best goal that you've seen live?
Do you know what, mate? That's I'm sure you'll probably say exactly the same here as me. Gary Alexander at Wembley.
At Wembley, Scunthorpe playoff final. I was there,
mate. Do you know what, mate? I can't lie. So I literally had just gone to the toilet. I think was it just before half time, or I can't really remember exactly, but I remember rushing up the stairs and hearing the roar. And as I spun round, he was running off. And then, mate, so to be fair, I didn't actually see it to a T, but I was there. So, yeah, no, for me, that was probably the best goal I've seen live. I think we've got a long way to beat.
Best goal at Wembley ever. No Wembley goal beaten since, 100%. Mate, when he swivels, he brings it on his chest, swivels, goes top corner. Mate, I was there, front row.
If Ronaldo had scored that, mate, it would probably be voted the best goal of all time, you know.
I was there front row. I was there front row. I had half a white face, half a blue face, a Mohican dyed blue. I don't know what was going on that day. My mum and dad killed me with the face paint.
To be honest, mate, I came up against him about, maybe it must have been 4 or 5 seasons after. In the FA Vars, he was playing for Greenwich Borough at the time, and I was at Hawley Town. And I touched on it. I had one of the local papers in Hawley asked me to do like a little report on it. Unfortunately, I was dropped that day. So I got about the last 15 minutes, you know, and to be honest, by then I had sort of, you know, we was 3-1 down, and, you know, it was that was quite a special moment, because I thought, you know, all right, he was a championship player, but still he was a player that I went and watched and supported and really appreciated. So yeah, no, that was quite a good moment.
Yeah, that's probably the best goal I've seen live as well. That goal, I'll get a clip of it to put it in the video. The goal is a joke. Tom's
Just to
laughing
show
about the
Tom, he
Wembley.
seems to keep laughing. Yeah.
No,
Yeah, no.
I vaguely remember it, and I remember it being a good goal. I do.
It was a great goal. Not good goal, a
No.
great goal, mate. I'm telling
It
you,
was
best goal at Wembley
unbelievable.
ever.
I'm waiting for this video clip so then I can watch it.
I'll stick it in the video. Anyways, yeah, cheers for that, Liam. Good
No
roundup
worries.
of some of your best moments. Yeah, so cheers for that, Liam. Thanks for coming on. Some great moments. Hopefully you're back coaching when the season resumes, whenever that is, and obviously we wish yourself and Croydon all the best. But for everyone else, just look out for the next episode. There will be a few more episodes of this series coming. If there's any other questions you'd like us to ask for the people that are on, just drop them in the comment below, and then obviously hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, because there'll be more content coming your way. So thanks, guys.
Thanks very much.
Good
Good
luck,
work,
Lee.
guys. Cheers.
Speak soon, mate.
See you later on.